Hello, guys. This is Obi speaking, the founder of Triple V Forex. We're back again in this thing. Guys. I'm on my Nasdaq chat here, 15 minutes chat. Uh, yeah, and I'm gonna be giving you much useful content today. If you like this content at the end of this video, please subscribe and like the video because it's gonna be late. It's really gonna get late very soon. Uh Guys, I know most of you are using your trend lines, you're using your trend lines, you've got your patterns, reversal patterns, you've got your W setups, M setups, you got whatever strategy that you're using. I'm not here to tell you that your strategy is not working. Your strategy is working, but there is something that you are lacking from your strategy. There's something that you don't really understand on how they run this market in order to get enough liquidity to take the market to the right direction that they want to take it to. So the most important thing is not your strategy. The most important thing is to spot where the market maker wants to take the market to. The most important thing is to spot the direction of the market so that you can be able to capitalize from your positions. Um, okay, guys, I don't want to make this video so long, so I'm gonna just get into it. Just start explaining what's really happening in the market. What is it that you have to look for in order to be profitable in this market? So, as we all know that sometimes when you execute your trade, maybe if you're a breakout trader, come here, you get your trend line. Okay, just gonna give you just a mere example. This is a trend line. You get the trend line. You place it here. Then you get the perfect break. Yes, okay. Get rid of that quickly. Okay, use the trend line. You get the trend break. Then it works out. In this case, you see, you got a break of a trend line. It worked out. We never got really a proper retest, but I think this level here was retested. It worked out in this case. We went all the way to the upside. But in some cases, you find that you get a break, and then only to find out that before even completing the 90%, and then it starts dropping uh, to the other direction. So the most important thing in this market is you mustn't really look at these trend lines. You can use them as confirmations. It's your strategy. I'm not going to change whatever system you're using. But there is something very important that moves the market. There's something that you must really look for in order to capitalize and to increase your winning ratio. Okay, let me get into it. Let's forget about trend lines and get into it. Okay. Before the market maker moves the market to the direction, they will always stop hunt people. Okay. As we know that we've got our Asian session, we've got our London session and the New York session. Okay. Here in this case, I only indicated my London session, which is here on the blue line, the first blue line, and the second blue line is the end of our London session, and then the start of our New York session, it's this first red line here, and then the end of New York session is this line here. If you do want to check the times, you can Google it. It's there on your website. Just Google trading South African trading time sessions, and then you'll get those. And then yeah, let's get into it. So I only concentrate on London session and New York session because those are the sessions which moves the market. Okay, those are the two sessions which moves the market, and that's where the banks, the big institutions are interested in too. That's where they come in and manipulate the market, take out the buyers, either buyers or sellers out of the market, then they take the market to the right direction. And then I'm going to be explaining how do you spot that and then really make profit out of this uh, uh, manipulations. Okay, let me get into it. Okay, as I said, this is our London session, the blue lines, the red lines is our New York session. So what you do here, you know already this is your Asian session. Okay, and then and at the back of your mind, you know that okay, this Asian session, it started somewhere around about here, and then it ended here, somewhere around about here, I think. Never check the time because I don't really trade this session. So this is the low of the land of the of the Asian session. This is the low of the Asian session, which got broken out by the London session. Okay, if we come here, that's the low of the London session, and then when London session starts, Asian session is here. This is the lowest point. When London, you can see here, they never took out the Asian session. You see, the London session never took out the Asian session. But here during London session, we got a break at the start, at the beginning of New York session, we got a break to the downside. And then what does this mean? This only tells you that if we get this, it means that okay, now we are going to get sellers. Okay, let's just zoom in. I'm just gonna zoom in. Let's concentrate on the London low. This is the low of the London session. London low. This is London. This is London low. At the beginning of New York session, we got a break. If we can extend this thing to the left, so that we in also involved the Asian session, then you'll see properly that okay, both Asian session and London session got broken by the when New York session started. The first line after this first line of New York session, we got a break below, and then what does this mean? It means after this retest here of this London session, that's where the sellers comes in the market. Okay, we got the retest. It's rejecting the retest. People start selling here. There is liquidity here because people start selling and then they sell then only to they put their stops here roundabout here, their stops is roundabout here. Then what happens next? Boom, stop loss are kicked, stop losses are kicked, and then buyers are in the market. Okay, this thing, if it kicks the stop loss here, it means it's going back into the zone. Okay, boom, this thing, if they start buying, they put their stop losses where? Round about these areas here. Round about these areas here. Let me just push it to the right. Round about these areas where stop losses sitting around about here. Then what do? They come back again with a second leg. What do? They take out all these stop losses here. Then they push the market up. Then now we have a complete W setup. That's when I come in, when I see this very big candle, that because now I know that the market maker is involved. The big institutions is involved. These big candles are telling me that okay, now the big fishes are involved. They're in the market. That's when I start buying, when I see this. And that's when I know for sure that if the banks are involved, they will manipulate. Okay, I've got my manipulation. People got stopped out. I've got my W set up. I've got this big candle. Three confirmations is better than one, guys. And then next thing, what happens? Boom, this thing goes up after my execution of with a buy here. It goes up all the way up. I'm not greedy. I'm gonna take my profit roundabout here. Take my profit roundabout here. So this is our first W setup. We went all the way to the upside. Make good profit. How many pips is that? It's a lot. Okay. Moving forward, next day, we have our London session. This thing is continuing to the upside. It's still going up. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's just move it to this new day. On the new day, we've got our low here, low of London session, and then we've got our low of the high of London session is round about here. It's here. So you guys, Yeah, that's the high of the London session. What happens here? There will be always manipulation, guys. There will be always manipulation before they move the market to the right direction. What happens here? We get our highest point of London session. What happens next? We get our nice rejection candle here, which creates an M. And then what do we do if we see a rejection candle like this? We start selling. Remember, it's also engulfed here. We start selling, thinking that, okay, this thing is going to drop. Remember, this thing is not just going to drop without any manipulation happening. We got sellers into the market. What happens next? The market push to the upside. Manipulation is here. When I see this thing moving back to this area, that's when I execute with my buy without any hesitation. That's when I execute with my buy. And then this thing moves all the way to the upside. Then when I start seeing this kind of a drop, this kind of dropping, that's when I'm going to exit the market. That's when I'm going to take profit. In fact, before the end of this day, I will close my profit, and then I'm gonna wait because I don't wanna end up trading the Asian session because there's nothing much happening on the Asian session. So before the start of Asian session, I take my money. Done. Going forward, going forward, every day, guys, every day. Going forward, next day, what happens? This is the high of London session. Okay, sorry about that. This is the high of London session on this day, and this is the low of London session. You see, guys, when there is market makers in the market, you will experience this kind of candles, this kind of movements. That's when you see that, okay, now we've got market makers in the market. Okay, these guys are now in the market. Okay, so uh, what is it? Okay, so first of all, what happens after this London session? Okay, we got our previous high of the day, and then we got what? We got a push to the upside here, and then we got another push to the upside, which never took out the yesterday's the previous day highs. Okay, it was never taken out. Then after that, what do we get? We get this kind of movement. You see, we get this kind of movement to the downside. I wouldn't say I should have caught this move from here, but I should have caught this move here when I see it dropping to this position. But I wouldn't enter this position because we haven't got anything solid to show us that, okay, now we are going to this direction and so forth. Unlike here where you we got a nice W setup at the end of this London session. In this case, we got a drop. Okay, we got the London low and the London high. After that, we get what? We get the move to the upside, which comes back to this area here. It comes back to this area. It means, what does that mean? That means if you see this big candles dropping like this, don't enter. It's fine. If you missed it, you missed it. We never got a W like this, which already manipulated this Asian session and the London session. In this case, this happens even before the end of London session. You let it run like this. You know that, okay, these guys, they will come back to fill this candle here at the back of your mind. You know these guys are going to come and fill. If you're using order blocks, those who are using order blocks, you can see this is our last green candle, and then this is our next red candle, and then the market start dropping massively, and then we come back to that area. We came back to that area, and then the moment we touch that area, we start dropping. That's an order block. This market, these guys were coming back for this order block here. So if you see this thing, it tells you that, okay, the market makers, the big banks, the big institutions are in the market and they're selling, and then obviously they will come back to fill this because it never moved with corrections. It just moved all the way to the downside like this with only one candle. One candle is took off so big. It's big. This is a very big candle. And then that tells you the market makers will come back to this area because we've got an order block which is still not which is still valid. So we came back to that order block. The moment we test that order block, it's up to you whether you enter here or maybe you enter at the rejection. When you see this rejection here, and then you will enter from here. Then this is another order block. It goes back to that order block. Then this thing starts dropping. So manipulation will. Those who were buying here thinking that this thing is a W, it's gonna continue going up. They were taken out here. Their stop losses were here. They were taken out by this candle. And people got confused. They started selling here. When they start selling, and then the market decides to go back up, those were in passion, then they started taking out their trades manually, thinking that, this thing is going back up. Yet this thing was only coming for this order block. And then we got our drop. We got our drop. They were only coming to get what? The order block. Then they went all the way to the downside. Okay, that's it for that day. Not There was not too much manipulation. Those who were taken out is these ones who only entered this trade earlier, looking at this Asian session and the this early part of London session. Okay, let's move to the next day. This thing happens every day, guys. This thing happens every day. On the next day, we've got our high of London session, which is here. Just gonna move the very same lines. Just gonna move the very same lines, guys. And then this is our lowest point of London session. Yeah. The low of London session is here. What day is this? 11th of February. What did we get here? What did we get? Okay, we already know that, okay, our Asian session dropped a little. Then we got this move to the upside. Got this move to the upside during the London session. Okay, on London session, during London session, we got what? We got this. We got this rejection here. We got this rejection. If you get the first rejection here, we got the first rejection at the end of the London session. It's not really an M, but if we can go to 5 minute chat, I think you can see something a little bit clear. I can say can get something a little bit clear. Let me just scroll back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, you guys. Yeah, but I hope you are seeing whatever I'm trying to explain. Okay, we're back into it. Back into it with the 5 minute set now. And then if you can check nicely on the 5 minute check, we've got our first leg, and then where we got another rejection here with this candle. People started selling with this rejection, which is engulfed. They were taken out with this big candle. After taking out people who were selling here, and then they move again to the downside, they continue selling. Then it moved all the way to the downside, and then until the end of that New York session. See, this move only ends at the end of London session. Then we've got some ranging market, which starts here and then continues during the Asian session and so forth. And then if we can move forward to the second day which is the what day is this? We were on the 11th of February, and then this is the 14th. Okay, there was a weekend here. This is the 14th. It was Monday. It was Monday. Monday. It's one of the slowest days. I don't really like trading these things on Mondays, but yeah. Whenever you see a manipulation, that's when you see. Well, that's when that's when you can execute after a manipulation. That's when you can execute a trade regarding the kind of manipulation that we got. Okay, just gonna quickly draw this thing nicely. Let me just go back to my 15 minute set. I don't think this one is giving me my nice setups. Just go back to my normal 15 minutes chat. Okay. Okay. This is the high of London session. And then this is the low of London session. What happens here? What happens here? Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. This is the low of London session. And this is the high of London session. What happened here on Monday? On this Monday, we got a break of this London session. But it's not really a clean break. But our clean break happens around about here. Okay. We got this break. Went all the way to the upside. So this is Monday. It's on Monday. And then it went all the way to the upside, but then we see sort of a rejection again. The market goes back into the zone. We never had any valid order block here. I wouldn't have executed anything in this on this day because there's nothing clean. So if there's nothing clean that we get, we don't execute trades. So we got to break back to that particular area, and then which never came back to this because we never had any order block this side as well. Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, we have an order block. This is our last candle. After this last candle, we have a move to the upside massively, and then they're coming back to close this to fill this candle. So they came back and then they filled round about here. It got filled, so we can take a buy here. Then it went all the way. Though I wouldn't still place this trade because this is the end of the day. This happens during the end of the day, and then I do not want to trade the Asian session. That's why you don't see any movement here. And then the only movement starts after what? It starts after 8. 8 o'clock is somewhere here on the following day. It's 8 o'clock, round about here. After that 8 o'clock, that's when we see this move to the upside, which was respecting what? Which this other block which got tested here. Then that's when we got this move to the upside. So I wouldn't really place this trade until I see this small W setup here, which also respects this order block which got a hit there, which got retested, and then we get this move to the upside. Okay, so yeah, I really don't do Asian sessions, but I will execute this day on the following this trade on the following day when I see this beautiful W setup getting broken round about here. That's where I was gonna pull out trade and then take it all the way to the upside. I wouldn't really hold it for so long. When I see this kind of movement, I will just exit the market. And then that's it. That's it for now, guys. I don't want to make this video so long. Um, if you do like this content, just like and subscribe to my channel. Then I'll keep posting so much useful content that will help you become a better trader. Rather than using strategies that never work, changing strategy after strategy after strategy, but never be profitable in this market. The only thing that you need to look at is your manipulation. Where are the people? Where is the liquidity? Where do they want to manipulate? Wherever there's liquidity, that's where the institutions are looking at. So if you can find those places and be able to see the manipulations which I was showing you, then you will be profitable. That's Triple V signing out for now. Goodbye. Till again.